It was 3:08 in the morning. It was May 2024, and it was the fourth session of my audiobook. So I wasn't writing, I was reading the book for the audio version that came out with the hardcover. I'm sitting right here at this desk. 3:08. It is jet black. The only lights in the entire neighborhood are the ones in my office. And I'm sitting here. There's two mugs right here, just to my right. One of them was an Iron Man mug filled with coffee. And I use the Iron Man mug because I like the reminder that when I look at it, it helps me remember that I can endure any level of pain. And right next to it was a mug with throat coat tea in it, herbal tea, and next to that was a green apple. So that as I was about to record, this was the fourth day of the audiobook, I would drink the tea, bite the apple, so that nothing was coming out of this throat except purified words and no lip smacking and none of that stuff. And so I couldn't have any papers on the desk. I had to have the ebook on the computer. This microphone was in a swivel boom arm. For heaven forbid I would actually touch the desk and there would be a sound. And you might be wondering, well, what the hey you doing at 3:08 in the morning? Why would you be up doing it at that time? Well, you need to know that at 4:30 in the morning, the four dachshunds and the entire posse that I had at that time would be screaming down the stairs. Harley would start sneezing in the bedroom that is the farthest in my house from this location. It didn't matter because this microphone would pick that up, as well as Mrs. LaCivita flushing the toilet. So I had basically about 75 minutes to get done what I needed to get done. But the ducks that are on my pond, they don't get the memo. So I get up because I hear them quacking. I go through the sunroom, through the kitchen, through the glass doors out onto the deck, and I'm standing there leaning over the railing, screaming at the top of my lungs, telling them to shut up, knowing full well that the neighbors got to be hearing this because, I was really broadcasting the signal, if you know what I mean. And you might be wondering, well, why are you telling me this? Because I want you to know that if you are ever going to take on something that is going to truly transform this world, not to mention, more importantly, yourself, you are going to do some things where you're going to look in the mirror and you're not going to recognize that person. You're going to wonder, what kind of lunatic is screaming at 3:09 in the morning at the ducks on his pond in his yard, right? What the things that I would go through and the lengths that I would go to and the things that I would think and the things that I would do, you wouldn't even recognize me. And I want you to know that if you've ever gone through this, you are on the right track. Because to do anything epic, you are going to get to a strange place that is unrecognizable. That's what transformation is all about. And so if no one gets you, it's okay. They're not supposed to, because you're not doing something that normal people do. And so when I hold this book in my hand, I'm not kidding you. Anytime I hold the book, I can think about that and all the stories that accompany what it took to get this thing out living and breathing. You read it, you turn the pages, and I hope that you get some great instruction. And some of you know me well enough where you're going to hear me talking right through the words, and I love that. And it's really hard to describe. And so if you want to change the world, even if it's your own world, it is worth it. Now, I will also tell you, in all honesty, that I will never, ever again take on a challenge like this. And you might be wondering, well, what do you mean? You're not going to write another book? No, I actually just agreed with the publisher on Tuesday, in fact, 2 days ago, to officially what the next book will be, what it's going to be called, what it's going to be about. So it isn't that I won't take on an assignment where I'll write another book, because I will. We're targeting January 2027 for that book to be out. But this book, when I had to think about what to write about and what I wanted to bring to the world, You might notice this. You might notice this in your own work, or you might notice this in the books you read. You probably favor books that are relatively simple, that address, meaning the scope of what the book is very narrow. How to build a habit, right? How to be more organized, whatever it might be. And the more narrow the scope of the book and the easier the problem is to solve, the more people will enjoy it, the more it will likely sell, and that's okay. And I knew full well that when I was writing this book, that I wasn't writing it for the top 1%. I was writing this for probably 1 in 100,000. Meaning, if you actually, show of hands, I don't know who has this book, but if you bought this book, that's a great step. You took a step that a lot of people won't, meaning that you are taking a step to better yourself. And better yourself for your career. You don't even need to be better, right? You can punch the clock, you can collect the paycheck. And the person who bought this book is rare. The person who read the book is rarer still. The person who read the book and actually built a career plan, actually read this thing cover to cover and built a career plan, that's got to be 1 in 1,000. But the person who actually got the book, read the book, built the plan, marked up the book, read the lessons, did the challenges, and tunes it over months and years, that person's 1 in a million. Now, I don't know what you are. And even if you didn't buy the book, that doesn't make you a bad person. And even if you bought the book and read it and enjoyed it, that makes me happy. Or even if you said, hey, I need help with communication. I need help with networking. I need help delegating, coaching, coming up with ideas, mentoring people. I need help building trust. I need help with my focus. I need help with building habits, whatever it is. And you flip back to a chapter, that's going to make me happy. But I want you to know when I set out to do this, I knew full well that it would only fly with so few. But I didn't want to rob those few, nor myself, of organizing a problem that is so difficult and mysterious and needed demystifying, which is how do I build a career development plan that I could use so that I know what skills to build, and I know when to build them, and I know how to build them. And that's really, really hard problem to solve, because you not only need to know that, you not only need to have the sequence, you not only need to have the methods, but you also need to know the how-tos and how to do that. All of that is poured into this. So it's not the 100 days in a row of 1,000 words a day that it took me to write this. It's the 35 or 6 or 7 odd years it took me to learn the lessons and then engineer the methodology, put it in a book, and then do all the writing, do all the recording, do all the marketing, do all the touch-ups, the agony over the cover, the agony over the book club, all of that stuff was totally worth it. But I know now it's done. And so any subsequent publications from me are going to be addressing some of the individual, very, very specific, very, very narrow troubles or problems that people have, like communication or something like that. So I want you to know that if you have this book and you read it, you are really, really rare. And if you do the exercises, you're rarer still. But if you actually built this plan, I invite you to email me and send it to me, and I will look at it, because I'm sure that my inbox is not going to be too filled with those. But if it's you, I'll look at it.